Good day, Liam. How are you, mate?
Very well. How you doing, Martin? You okay?
I'm all good. Scott, how are you doing, mate?
Absolutely wonderful. Can't complain.
Wonderful, because you're coming off the back of a win, finally.
Yeah. It's about fucking time. Yes, brilliant. Very good result. We'll get more into
Yeah. Before we get into it, we've not really got a plan tonight. But this podcast was meant to be about fixing sort of anything. So I think we'll just cover quite a bit of stuff. We'll talk about what's been sort of the go-to topics in the Premier League recently, and anything else around football, maybe not worthy of a full episode on themselves because we're not that clued up on it, but I don't know, just touch on a few things that have been trending in the world of football. But I do want to, before we go to Chelsea, Liam, the dream Premier League club tie away at the mighty Luton in the FA Cup for Bolton. Can I have your first thoughts on that?
It's a great tie. Obviously, everyone wants the big 6 or 7, but Premier League away game that I think we can win. We will go there and we'll try and beat them. I obviously hold Luton in high regard, so it'll be a particular scalp if we can beat them. Their fans have been, very pleasant to us in terms of feedback on the podcast. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it and showing them
Any feedback is good feedback.
Constructive.
Yeah, it's rare that a team 2 divisions below is bigger than the one that they've dropped.
Well, I was having a look, because I was thinking, what are my chances of getting tickets for this? It's 10,000 that ground.
Yeah.
That's like if Horwich were playing and we all took deck chairs to go and watch them. I wanted to watch Horwich Vic on a Saturday. So hopefully I can get a ticket. That's the dream. But that'll sell.
What's the away location?
I don't know. I think in Cup it's increased, isn't it? I think you get up to 25% in Cup, I believe.
Okay. So you could get 2,500 there.
2,500, I'd fancy my chances of getting a ticket, but if it's 1,200, 1,300, it's going to be tough.
And Scott, another tie for the North. Chelsea got Preston. I love the third round draw because just for this reason, the big boys come in, you start to separate it. It can be made into an event. I mean, you must be happy with getting Preston, even though I think they've been in form. All right.
I think Preston are always okay and never they're always flirting in and around the playoff places in the championship.
They're always 8th. They finish 8th every year,
which is currently where they are. I'm just checking now. That's exactly where they are 8th. Level on points with Blackburn, and it does look tight there, to be fair. I think there's only a point separating them in 12th place. So, but they're never terrible team. They're never one of the worst in the championship. But they always seem to come up a little bit short when it comes to the playoffs. But
that's Stamford Bridge as well, isn't it?
It is at Stamford Bridge, yeah. So sadly, I can't just nip up the road and go and see the boys play. But it'll be a good game and one that you would expect. Similar, we had Blackburn in the Carabao Cup, and we came through that fairly easily. You'd expect more of the same. But yeah, it's nice to see, just the weird ties that you can get, and the teams who've maybe done well to get through the first and second round, hopefully getting rewarded with a really good tie. And I think I was keeping an eye on Stockport County. I think they drew the other night, so I'm not sure what it is in the second round, if you get a replay or if
there's a replay. Yeah,
the replay. Can't remember who County get, but they've got a good chance of getting through to the third round, which for them will be massive, and they've become sort of my adopted second or third team. So hopefully they can come through.
It's interesting you mentioned that because one of the other headline ties of the third round was Arsenal v Liverpool, and I thought it was quite interesting that people weren't happy about that. They want the potential upset match going on. They don't want a match that they're going to see a couple of weeks before or after anyway. I mean, it was spoken about today on the radio, but do you think seeding in this competition at this point is something worth looking at, Liam? Because I thought it was quite a good idea, to be fair. No,
I don't think so, because this is what you want. You want everyone coming already coming into the third round is an advantage. if you're seeding it,
Yeah.
you're also then giving them a competitive advantage. And I get the idea that, yeah, we all want to see Man United play Chester or whatever, right? But at the same time, it is giving Man United a massive advantage to go through. And everyone, the idea of the FA Cup is that everyone's on a thing. And to be honest, attendances across the FA Cup are poor anyway.
Unless you get one of these big ties, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just creates an unfair advantage. The idea is everyone coming in equal. I like the idea of Arsenal versus Liverpool in the third round. I feel like that'll have an edge. I remember a few
Because one of
years
them goes
back,
out though as well.
yeah, there's a lot at stake. Like they're fighting. This is a trophy both of them are fighting for. Like, there's a good chance that City will win the Premier League. I reckon. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that. So these trophies are massive. So that's a big game. And yeah, I'll definitely be watching it. And I think everyone who said that they don't like it, I imagine will watch it as well.
Yeah, I've no doubt it's going to be interesting. And plus, you get both managers get to mix up the teams. Didn't you have a few comments on the attendance for the Bolton match? It was Bolton v Harrogate in the second round before this draw. Was it quite a poor turnout?
Yeah, really poor turnout. It has been for quite a lot of the cup games in recent years. The attendances in the league are really, really good. Over 20,000 most weeks, even with quite a low average away following, very well attended. But across the cup, and I think I talked about this when we talked about the Carabao Cup or League Cup, it's really poorly attended. I think there was about 5,000, just over 5,000 on at the weekend, and they missed a strong Bolton team putting another very good performance. So, that's on them, and it's not even like it was available on video. So it's not like it was available to be streamed if you have access to that kind of coverage. It wasn't on there because the FA Cup isn't shown anywhere globally because the Premier League clubs are very selective on the rights and things like that. So that's why. So I thought it was disappointing.
Fair enough.
Just quick question: are the attendances for the Football League Trophy poor as well, or is
absolutely diabolical for that? Like, I mean, we're playing tomorrow night. I probably will go, to be fair, because I do like cup games. That's something I like to go to. But I'd be surprised if we have 3,500 on tomorrow night.
Wow.
Who you play tomorrow?
Port Vale.
Yeah.
Round of 32 in the Football League Trophy, which we won last year. So we're defending that. We'll play a strong side because we don't play Portsmouth until next Monday, which is on Sky. So we'll actually have to record. Well, we'll have to record on Sunday or, just before, and you can, because that's our biggest game of the season. So you can get my pre-anxiety on that one if you want. But
is that it is it is at Bolton as well, yeah.
No, it's not. It's at Fratton Park.
Oh, right, cool. Right, yeah.
Yeah, because you're quite right to assume that every time Bolton are on Sky, they're at home.
Yeah, it seems like every time.
Yeah, it is. It is every time. So, no, this one is away at Fratton Park on Sky. So, quite a one to look forward to, really. But I forgot what the question was.
We were talking about...
My original question was about the Football League Trophy attendance, and my thinking was, if that was higher, maybe the attendance dips for the FA Cup because the chances of Bolton winning it are, significantly lower than obviously the trophy that was won last year. So I just wondered if that played into it, but it sounds like it's worse.
Nah, yeah, both dog shit. I think that'd be the word I'd use to describe it.
Yeah.
What about Chelsea? What about Chelsea? Like, do they see any dip in terms of cup competitions, or is it just an opportunity for people that don't go all the time to go? What happens there?
Yeah, the latter really. It's very much an opportunity for people because the ticketing system. I think I might have talked about this before. The ticket acquisition system for Chelsea is terrible. Like whatever platform we use crashes all the time. It's like trying to get, like, I don't know. It's not someone I go to, but I imagine someone like
you can't get tickets from.
When fucking Beyonce's on and every man and his dog wants to go. It's like that, and it's just. But I don't think it's because the demand's exceedingly high, even though it is. But it's more so because the platforms that we use are poor. So I think it's a good chance for people to, and because they're always midweek, and I think it depends on the opposition. If we draw Man City in the third round, it's going to be a sellout. If we it was okay. So yeah, it does dip, but then the later in the competition you get, the quality of the opposition improves, the attendance kind of goes with it.
It's funny you mentioned the ticketing thing because Arsenal have been trying to combat toting because of their ticketing system. It seems to be really poor. I don't know if this is something that's widespread and all clubs use the same sort of system. In the Premier League, I'm not 100% sure. But I know Chelsea suffer a lot because of they're probably classed more of a tourist attraction type of club because of their vicinity to central London, as opposed to some of the other ones that are a little bit more out. So they get a lot of tourists coming in, and that, it drives business for totes as well. I mean, have you seen anything from Chelsea about them trying to combat that?
It's not as bad as Man United, because I think one thing I don't like is, and I can somewhat understand the frustration, but you see it on social media a lot from Man United fans complaining about the tourists who go. I mean, I used to work quite near the stadium, so you used to see big groups of people who've been there during the afternoon, been to the megastore, they'd clearly done the stadium tour, they'd come over probably just to go and see the United stadium. And you also get United fans complaining online, taking pictures of, oh, this guy's clearly a tourist, he's got his half and half scarf, he's just here for the crack. So it's not that bad, but I have seen it creep into Chelsea's social media world. Basically coming at people who are there, who clearly, quite obviously don't go every single week. But yeah, I kind of think, isn't that kind of the point, to get your club to that massive stage where people will fly in from abroad just to come and see you? Like, isn't that kind of the point? So
yeah,
that's what Tottenham have been trying as well, haven't it?
I was going to say it's a shame there's not room for both, because there is something nice about it, isn't there? Like people that want to come over and watch English football. A lot of English people will go and watch German football, for example, on trips. Something I'm doing myself. I'll be watching Hamburg, I think, when I go there later in the year. Unfortunately, St. Pauli aren't at home. But it's just a shame that it means that another fan misses out, doesn't it? That's the issue with it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
While we're on Chelsea, Scott, let's go back to the weekend. And even though a slight bit of disciplinary action creeped back in, you got a win against Brighton. Good, but Brighton, I don't know about. Let's on Brighton first, and then let us know what you thought about the Chelsea performance, because Brighton are they're in a bit of a weird stumbling phase.
They are, and I think it's quite interesting to watch. And I think it could be one of a couple of things. It could just be a relatively standard blip. I know that their injury list was somewhat long as well. They were going to be missing quite a few key players. Doesn't help they sell all the best players every summer either, usually to us. But there was talk, at the beginning of the season that Roberto De Zerbi was, going to be, and something that I'd seen, I wouldn't have been surprised at the time. Him, being in line to take over from Pep when he goes, and he's getting touted as this, absolute tactical genius. And I don't know, it seems to have gone off the boil a little bit, and they're not really outplaying teams the way that they used to. So is it a case that he just came into a well-coached team with good chemistry, with, kind of right place, right time, and the wheels are kind of falling off? I think that I had Brighton to finish pretty highly this year. And
yeah, I think we all did, to be honest.
I still think they're going to be good enough to be better than the likes of United and, probably Chelsea as well, to be fair, because we're too inconsistent. But they're not as impressive as they were. So it's an interesting one to see. And I can't really put my finger on why.
Martin, I was going to ask you, actually, on De Zerbi. So I was speaking to Chris, a United fan who listens to the podcast today.
Hey, Chris.
Anyway, he basically said that he wants De Zerbi. He thinks Ten Hag's done. When it all goes through, De Zerbi is the person he wants. But I personally couldn't see De Zerbi going there. I don't know if you think he would make that move or not.
To Arsenal or Man United?
Not Man United.
Oh, he would.
I think.
Sorry, I just put it in there, but he definitely would.
I think most managers, especially those slightly outside of the elite few, the elite 5 or 6 who there probably are, I think most managers would take the Man United job. Now, whether it's the right move, it's at this moment in time, like we've said before, there's a lot more that they need to fix before a manager comes in and solves a lot of their issues. I think Ten Hag is really treading water at the moment, and he's drowning a bit. His legs are getting tired in this one. So I don't know. I suspect he would take it given them the opportunity because it's Man United and the opportunity of glory at Man United it's like it's on a different pedestal to most other clubs. So yeah, my answer is yes, but whether he should or not, probably shouldn't, and I don't think most managers should be touching that club.
One of those clubs
anything.
The one of those clubs, I think, that when they come knock him, you kind of just have to just go with it. I mean, I felt like this when Lampard took the Chelsea job at first. Although he was so out of his depth, not ready, he probably should have stayed in lower leagues for a while first, and maybe he's just not got the minerals anyway. But when the call comes, you've just kind of just got to say it could have been for him. It could have been now or never. Turned out it wasn't. But yeah, I think when one of those clubs pick the phone up, you've just got to go with it and just worry about the rest after.
So moving back to Chelsea, Scott, a good win.
Yeah, a good win. So some positives to start with. Enzo Fernandez finally getting a goal. Say finally, it's not really his job to be doing that.
It's nice to break the duck, though, isn't it?
He's been catching a lot of stick recently from rival fans and also from some of our own fans as well for his contributions. And I'm not saying he's as good as this next guy I'm going to mention, but people never really got on Iniesta for not scoring a lot of goals. He barely scored any. But it wasn't his job to do that. He had a different role in the team. And I feel like Enzo Fernandez is in a similar mold in that his job isn't to do those traditional goals, assists, even though his range of passing is ridiculous and he probably should get more assists. But
he's a bit deeper though, isn't he? I'd probably put him more like a Xavi than Iniesta, but that's me. I don't know what you think. Liam, you almost fell off your chair then.
I can't believe you just used Andre Iniesta as the example.
Did you not hear what I said? Are you listening to anything? I said I'm not comparing him to this man.
I know, but
so what you on about then?
You're putting him in proximity. You even if you say I'm not comparing him, you're putting in proximity to each other of Enzo Fernandez and Andre Iniesta.
They're totally different in my opinion. Let's cut that one there. Go on, just talk to me about what you thought of the Chelsea result and the match, because I watched it, and do you know who I was unimpressed by severely? And that's Caicedo. I don't know what you've made of him since he come in, but he's definitely not found his rhythm yet, that's for sure.
I actually disagree. I think I don't think anybody in the Chelsea team, I'll preface this, has been amazing. I mean, Cole Palmer hasn't had a good couple of games recently, but he's maybe the only exception. But I actually think Caicedo's been, again, his job isn't to be the flashy standout man of the match every week. His job is to break up play and pretty much be that box-to-box presence. And that's kind of what he's been doing. His debut was an absolute shambles. His debut was a disaster. But so was Thiago Silva's, and that turned out okay. So I'm not really concerned. He's the least of my concerns when it comes to the Chelsea team. No, I actually think he's been all right. I think if you watch a full 90 minutes of him, I actually think you keep your eye on him. I think he's doing the job he's being asked to do. So I don't think he's much of an issue.
Fair enough.
Good to see the £120 million signing is doing the job he has to do. That's what he. I'm also relieved, Scott, that you didn't compare him to Zinedine Zidane there as well. That was good.
He does have slightly better ball control than Zinedine Zidane, but I didn't want to bring that up.
Clip it. Scott said this. Speaking of predictions, I want to move a little bit further down the league. We'll take this on for a second, Liam, before we move right back to the top. Sheffield United, and it looks like, I don't know if anyone else got this, but I predicted that Heckingbottom would be the first manager to go, and it looks like by the time this goes out, he will have gone and Chris Wilder will have come in. Just give us your thoughts on that. That you think it's a case of Sheffield United have been that poor, or it's they need to move? It's results haven't gone their way, and it's they need to move first and get someone in and get some results on the board.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because there's absolutely no surprises at any of the results. They are on paper one of the poorest sides. I think we predicted them 20th at the start of the season when we were going for our teams. I think
definitely down there.
Yeah, but I mean, what can you do? It is the easiest thing to do to try and make something happen rather than just accept your fate, which they did anyway with the transfer business in the summer. But the losing 8-0, the losing 5-0 to Burnley, that is a horrendous result.
That's a statement
so
one, isn't it?
So many different reasons. Like, that's as bad a result as any in the Premier League ever, really. So, like, it's that bad. But so it's all you can really do is change the manager. And they're bringing in Chris Wilder, who last time was manager, got them relegated. So that's his Premier League resume. He was relegated with the exact same club. He does know the club. You know, he's a fan, isn't he?
Not straight away. He was relegated in the second season last time they come up.
Apologies. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. He took them from League One to the Premier League as well. I do remember those games against Chris Wilder's Sheffield United when he was there.
Yeah, they were on their trajectory at that time was just insane, wasn't it?
It was. So it's just trying to make something happen. But what will it change? Absolutely fuck all.
Yeah, I agree. Even with Everton being, flung into this relegation battle, I still see them right down there no matter who they bring in.
Yeah, 100%.
What else? Liam, what else? What was the match of the weekend for you? I guess there was two big ones. The City and Spurs match, and then Liverpool and Fulham turned into quite the Premier League classic almost.
Yeah,
a lot of good games this weekend.
Yeah,
there was. I won't pretend I saw Liverpool Fulham. It looked tremendous, and it looks like
the goals were insane.
Arnold is becoming a very, very key part of that new Liverpool team in that new formation in that position that he's playing. It also made me change my England 11 when I was discussing this today, that you can't not have him in there almost as that spare midfielder right back position with
this Trent, you mean?
Yeah, with Kyle Walker as a right centre back to cover Maguire's pace behind. I feel like you can't not have him there now. It just gives you an extra attacker. He is unbelievable in that position, Scott. I know that takes out your boy Reece James, but there's value there, isn't there, surely?
I was thinking about this over the weekend, and I think comparing them is almost a bit dumb because they can both do stuff that the other can't do. As a physical, domineering presence and a defensive presence, Reece James has him on toast. But very few. I mean, this is just not even just Reece James. Very few people in the Premier League can do what Trent can do at the other end of the field. So I would like to see us use him in some way, but I just don't think we can give him any defensive responsibility because he's proven, as good as he is at one end, he's proven over and over again that he is such a liability at the back. The wingers are getting behind him so easily. The amount of games he's cost Liverpool just for not really paying attention to the runners in behind him. I just don't think we can trust him on that side. So if we can find a way to get the best out of him, and I've been saying for ages, he should just be a winger because he's quick, he can pass, he can. I think that's the best way you get the best from him. I think defensively, we need to try and find another way to use him. I would like to see him in there though.
I think if Salah wasn't at Liverpool, they'd have put him out there already.
I mean, how old is he now? He's still only 21, is he? He's only quite young still, isn't he?
Trent, no, he's probably 24-ish in my.
Oh God, he's 25. Oh God, I thought.
He's past it.
Than that.
He's past it.
Get rid of him. Get shot of him.
One more.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, I just think that he's an option that they could have gone with, or they could try and make him into some sort of playmaker type. But yeah, I think from an England perspective, yeah, it would be nice for us to use all the weapons he would give us, but he'd cost us a game, and he cost us in a big way.
So Liam, you mentioned about rethinking your England 11, and we need a way to get him in. How? Just run us through that.
God, this is segueing like mad. This podcast is segueing like mad. Right.
We're bouncing all over tonight, but this is what a typical conversation with lads is going to be like. We're going to forget our original point. We're going to move on to two other things and forget one of them as well on the way.
Okay.
This is
right. Go on.
Your previous prediction just a few weeks ago was Reece James right back with Stones and Walker at centre back, Chilwell on the left.
Yeah.
And then a midfield of Bellingham, Rice and Maddison, which, by the way, all four of us did that.
Yeah, it's completely different now. So, Here we go.
You're
This
inverting
is
him. You're inverting him.
I'm going mentally. I'm going tactical flexibility. There's an in and out of possession here as well, by the way. I'm proper pepping this. So Pickford in goal. It's now back three now. Of Stones, Maguire, and Walker.
Oh no.
Yes.
Hold on, let me finish.
At right wing back is Trent as an invert into midfield, and at left is Shaw. And the reason for Shaw is that out of possession, this goes to a back four with Kyle Walker at right back. So it inverts into a four. Your two midfielders are Bellingham and Rice. And I'm going back to the three up front with Saka, Gordon, and Kane.
Oh my God.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, wins the Euros.
Mate, Scott, I'm going to let you talk about yours in a second. I really want to stress something about Trent in midfield, being the expert in this category. Here. But yours was, you again had the same back four. Is there anything you change about that at the moment, given what you've seen since predicting that, and maybe since the beginning of the season?
Was it Chilwell, Walker, James, and Stones?
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, Chilwell's purely based on if everyone's fit and form is equal, and fit and in form. I think Chilwell's the best left back we've got. I don't think I'd change it.
I was the only one who put Trippier in. I mean, I don't know why no one remembered that Trippier's a by far better left back than any natural left footers that we've got.
I like left footers in left footed positions. I just think it gives you, it opens the pitch up. And I think that's one of the big structural problems at Man United when Shaw's not fit, when they've really shoehorned players on that side, especially with the way Rashford plays. It almost takes a third of the pitch out of the equation for Man United. And I think England have had the same problem when they've played Trippier and Rashford.
I am really struggling to understand, just because that Trent can ping a ball, he's technically good on the ball, but playing in midfield versus someone who's come up as a professional footballer in the right back area, whose weak spots have been covered up by a crazy amount of pressing and an unbelievable Virgil van Dijk for a couple of seasons, that now his defensive frailties have been put into light. We need to move him in midfield, and he was never a right back in the first place. I can't get my head around people just think he's this unbelievable midfielder all of a sudden. Is it am I going mad here that he's the next coming of some unbelievable ball playing midfielder? The way they were talking about him on Match of the Day was like they'd put Beckham and Pirlo in the middle of the park or something like that. And yes, on the ball against a team like Fulham who aren't pressing you in your own third, yeah, you're going to have loads of time to ping it wherever you want. And someone half technical will be able to do that. But I think going forward, this is another reason why I think Fulham scored 3 goals at Anfield, which not many people do, is because they're shoehorning Trent into midfield to get him on the ball. Yes, he scored 2. I think he scored 1, but it was really 2. That free kick was, again, his free kick was class. But shoehorning him into midfield is causing them problems on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's because I don't think it's like a Gareth Bale where he transitioned to a winger and it's like, oh my God, this is where he should have been all this time. I don't think it's that kind of situation, but he's going to be going anyway. Southgate's got a hard on for him. He's going to be going. So what do you do with him? You just can't trust him at right back because he will lose us a game. It's as simple as that. So then to get all of his attributes, where can you actually use those things that he is good at? And midfield is kind of the place where you would find all those things usually.
Can I put the question to you that would you play Trent against Spain and France?
Oh no,
in
won't
midfield.
Play him anywhere. No, won't play him. I personally wouldn't take him. I personally wouldn't have him at all. But I'm going off what's actually going to happen as opposed to what I think should happen.
Liam's invertibles.
But also, I'm not 100% Southgate is 100% sold on Trent Alexander-Arnold. There was a period where he wasn't getting in squads, and people were losing their minds over the player that got into the World Team of the Year not getting into a team above Kieran Trippier. So I'm not 100%. I don't think he is sold on him as a right back, Southgate, at all. I think he
not as a right back. No, I don't think
But-
you sold him as a right back, but I think when he wasn't making squads, I don't think he'd really considered the prospect of using him elsewhere. But since he started to use him elsewhere, he's been in every squad.
I think you need to look at the game against City to see why Trent should play in games like that. At a moment when it was needed, he has the quality to deliver. And
Yeah.
I'm sick of watching Phillips or Henderson or players like that in that role that don't make things happen. We need to be on the front foot. And
I would much rather have him in.
We've got Rice, and if Rice can't, and my team's a back three. If Rice can't do it with a back three behind him, then he's not the player that everyone in the world tells us he is.
Rice can do it with one behind him. You don't need
anyone. Well, this is it.
Do what exactly? He ain't creating nothing.
We didn't need to because we've got
his job. His job.
Yeah, his job, which is to knit together the defence and midfield and take the ball from Luke Shaw. As soon as Luke Shaw gets that ball, give it to me. Because I get what you said about Chilwell, but he's not going to be fit, is he? Let's be honest.
No.
There'll be an injury between now and then. I like Chilwell. I put him in my team originally, but then I thought about it. I thought he ain't going to be fit. Like something will come up between now and then.
The same. I rate James really highly, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be there.
No. My hot take. I feel like we could cash in on James if he can't keep fit. I feel like
Real Madrid want him, don't they? Is it Real Madrid who want him?
They do. And I don't think I think that's the only club he would leave us for, realistically, because I do think he legitimately wants to stay at Chelsea for his career. But if he's not on the pitch, as much as I rate him, I think when he's fit and on it, I don't think there's a better right back in the world, personally. But he's never fit. So it's not much use to us on the bench or in the physio room. So
he's a brilliant
I can
player.
see us. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Very talented. And just going back to Trent, I would definitely rather have him starting in the midfield next to Rice over Phillips and Henderson. I don't want them anywhere near the squad. They ain't playing football, playing Mickey Mouse football.
The midfielder of that ilk that I would take, that is your workhorse type midfielder, is Gallagher by a mile, by the way. Like, he is streets ahead of those other two for me, in terms of he actually throws himself into games. Like, he is 100% committed in his role, and his ability on the ball is more than competent. So he can very much do that job as the third midfielder.
Yeah, Scott, Gallagher's performances have really, maybe since the opening month of the season, Gallagher's performances have really stepped up. I think he's the one knitting everything together, like Liam said.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's almost unanimous amongst the Chelsea fan base that they wanted him sold in the summer. I think mainly because we could get a good fee for him, and it's all profit because he's from the academy, so there was that to consider. And I wouldn't be surprised if a big offer did come in. I think the board would consider it. But yeah, he's proven that he's Poch's kind of play, and this is kind of what I was saying when Poch came in, that Gallagher's exactly the kind of guy he would want. And he proves it in big games. I would actually be happy if Gallagher was benched against the lesser teams who were going to low block both Chelsea and England. But in the games where it's a bit more open, like against Man City, he was unbelievable. So yeah, I think he could be a really good tool for England, particularly when we play the Frances and the Spains and whoever else that will come.
I always think he's like the lad off Derry Girls as well, doesn't he? You've seen Derry.
No idea.
I haven't seen Derry Girls.
Well, if you do, you look like him.
We'll insert a picture here. So let's move to the biggest talking point of the weekend, and that's the decision right at the end of the Man City v Spurs game. Don't want to harp on about VAR and referees too much, but this was a bit of a stinker, wasn't it?
I didn't see it. I had to leave earlier. I went out for some food. I missed the last 5 minutes of this game. It seems like I missed everything in the world. I've seen pictures of Erling Haaland having his mouth more open than I think anyone's been able to open the mouth. I've not seen it back. I saw Pep being very weird about it as well, like not wanting to talk about it because he doesn't want to look like he's a ref, somebody who discusses referees, which is him at his weirdest.
He's such a weird dickhead, him.
I need to know off you guys what happened.
Your hero's mentor.
It is it is funny. I mean, from my point of view, it was great, but
It was a shambolic decision. It was really, really poor. I mean, I can understand. This is one of those things that if this happened to your team, you would be apoplectic. You'd be like, "What the hell is going on here?" It was, it was
So
really, really bad decision. I think.
I had to leave to go for a meal, like with 5 minutes to go. Talk to me. What actually happened? Because all I've heard is this is outrageous, and then just Erling Haaland's mouth.
Yeah.
That's all I kind of really know from it.
So Haaland picks up the ball. I think there was a Spurs corner, and they clear it.
Yeah.
So, and Haaland picks it up just behind the halfway line, and he gets fouled by someone. I don't know. I couldn't see who it was. But before he goes down, he gets his pass away to somebody else,
Right?
And they then play in. I don't know. Somebody was through on goal. Martin may be able to give names here.
Yeah,
Plays him in. Go on.
sorry.
Do you want to fill in the blanks that I'm missing there?
He was fouled by the Tottenham defender coming back towards his goal from the halfway line. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he's collected the ball and he's going backwards.
Yes. He then he falls down, but he gets up before the ref can blow, and the ref signals with his arm out to play on. He gets up, he lobs the ball through the middle, and Grealish is through on goal. Well onside, through on goal. He's got 3 defenders chasing him.
He's away. He's away.
He's away. Like, he's well away.
And then he blows for the foul.
As Grealish gets the ball, blows for a free kick, yeah, and then
he's unbelievable.
I genuinely so like in the last kick of the game, yeah, nearly
96th minute, I think it was. It would have definitely won the game, and it's a decision that I can't quite get my head around because he clearly kind of just lets it play out, and then he almost waits, teases the City fans like, "I'll wait until you're just about to get those 3 points," then boom, he pulls. I can't get my head around why he did it.
I'm assuming the Sky camera panned on Pep immediately.
There was a great angle of the whole ground with Pep in the bottom side of the pitch, so you saw his reaction in real time, and I think it was Anthony Taylor who's the 4th official. He gave him an absolute blasting. Simon Hooper was the referee, and I think he's had a bit of a mare there. I think they will hold their hands up and admit that was a big mistake.
Anthony Taylor's involved, so of course they fucked something up.
Anthony Taylor's face is great. If you watch Pep berating him, Anthony Taylor's face, he knows that they fucked up there.
Pep's going to be my hero, isn't he?
Well, he's just weird as well. First of all, he's telling other reporters who were asking him about it, next question. Then he says he doesn't want to do a Mikel Arteta, which means we've clearly riled him. I'm glad to see him acting nice and weird. He said, "Yeah, I don't want to do a Mikel Arteta here and get in trouble."
Thing is, though, Arteta is like his little clone. He worships a little shrine of Pep every night at home. So I bet that as much as Arteta's going to put on a brave face, that would have killed him inside. That his hero.
Well, Mikel's responded today and said that he doesn't want any Pep questions at his conference this evening.
Through tears.
Liam, going off that description, I know without seeing it, for me, I'm putting this one down to a really bad mistake by the referee. There's nothing that VAR could have done to intervene as well. It was just a almost refreshing mistake by the referee. No one can do anything about it.
This sounds pretty funny, I think, from what you're telling me. I wish I'd kind of seen it because
it's hilarious because now that none of us are City fans, but I would be claiming the world is corrupt against us if I was a City fan right now. It really did. It really did stink.
You'd claim that over foul for us against Arsenal. You honestly, you will not drop this idea that there's an anti-Arsenal conspiracy.
He's pro-Arsenal. Is he mad? Like, it's the most pro-Arsenal environment I've ever been in.
In our WhatsApp group.
Oh, in the WhatsApp. Oh, yeah. Well, we all hate Arsenal.
Pretty anti-Arsenal in there. But who's it pro in there, really? Like, because I slag Bolton off in there, so there's not pro anyone.
Yeah. These conversations will never see the light of day, so use your imagination, folks. While we're on the subject, Liam, let's talk about Arsenal for a sec. Now clear at the top of the league. Just give us your overriding thoughts on that. I'll give you a little bit of brief about the match as well in a sec, but I don't know much of Arsenal you've seen and what your thoughts are about us at the moment.
I've seen quite a lot. Are you asking me, do I think Arsenal will win the league?
Yeah.
No, they won't.
Come on.
Well, they can. They can. Let's be serious about it. Yes, they can win the league. They have got enough about them. I don't think it's a lack of character. They've got a deep enough squad now to do it. The question is, can they shake off Liverpool and City? that's what it'll ultimately come down to. Can they create a gap that they're confident they can see at home with? Because as much as last season, everyone started to think for a second it might happen. I think in the back of everyone's mind was this idea that City will go on that run
They
and
were always
Arsenal
coming.
won't match it. But it was more about Arsenal not being able to maintain it, cracking
Yeah.
under the pressure. And I don't think that will happen as much this year because you'll be used to the environment of a title running now. I think that will help you, and I think there's less pressure on you to win it than there is on City to retain it. Weirdly, even though they've won about 1 million in a row.
Yeah, that seems to be the case this year.
So, I don't think you will, but you can. What do you reckon, Scott?
I don't really want to give Arsenal any credit at all because they knocked me sick. But yeah, you can. Will you? No. But having said that, we're relying on the same thing happening that always happens, which is this magical run that City go on in the new year and smashing everyone, winning 15 games in a row, and that being it. But these things stop eventually. That can't happen every year. So is that this year? I guess is the only question. But I do think we touched on it right at the beginning of the season. A lot of key players left Man City who they didn't really replace in terms of stature at the club. Like Riyad Mahrez, for example, yesterday would have been like gold dust for Man City. They were struggling to unlock that Spurs defense. And as good as Doku is, he's no Riyad Mahrez yet. So I think it's going to be tricky. I actually think Liverpool are kind of the forgotten entity here. I think they still carry such a threat going forward. And although they've got a bit of a mishmash midfield, which I don't think is that great, I think if it came down to it, even in a race between Arsenal and Liverpool have been there way more times than Arsenal have, and I think Liverpool would edge it. So no, Arsenal won't win the league is my overarching point. Simply because I don't think this Arsenal team is good enough to do it. Personally, I don't think they're good enough.
I think I'll jump in if that's all right, man. But with that Liverpool, I think Salah, and it's mad to say it, it seems as better than he's ever been, even now.
So annoying, isn't he? How annoying is he? Scruffy bastard.
He could be the most consistent player, or one of the most consistent players year in, year out. His return is ridiculous.
It's and mad I don't because like everyone hates Liverpool, don't they? Like no one likes Liverpool, but everyone will say that Salah is definitely one of the best players ever. Like no one.
He's undeniable. Yeah.
It's incredible.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far to say he's one of the best players ever.
Then you're incorrect, but that's fine. Martin?
No, he's one of the greatest Premier League forwards.
Martin, are Arsenal going to win the league?
I think we are. And I think from what I've seen of Liverpool, they will stumble enough. Even if they take 6 points off us, I think they will stumble more than we will. Looking at our fixtures, I think we play the big teams in a bit more of a sporadic fashion than some of the others were. City are sort of going on a run of playing Spurs, Newcastle, Liverpool. I'm not sure if that's the exact order, but they have a lot of hard fixtures piled in together, and they can easily draw 3 in a row there, and that will allow us to pull away. Whether we pull away enough, I don't know. I'm a lot more hopeful this season, and I've seen in the last 2 or 3 weeks we're starting to up the gears a little bit. I think up until now, having only lost 1, we have been in second gear, and I've sort of been willing the team and convincing myself that there's a title challenge happening when I didn't see the quality that I saw last season, and the fluidity and the sort of the range of goals and the surprise package almost that we were last year. This season, we have by far the best defence in the league, conceded the least amount of goals, and we're proper marching on. I don't really know how to describe it, but I've just seen us step it up a gear in the last couple of weeks. I thought the performance against Lens in the week was a great one because we'd lost against them previously. And the one against Wolves this weekend, the first half was stunning. The Odegaard's goal to make it 2-0 was really, really good. So, yes, is my answer. We can and will win the league. I think 4 in a row is proving impossible. So that's where I'm sitting on that. And I don't think Liverpool have the defensive organisation to keep it together long enough right now, while I do think that they may be second at the moment. I'm seeing City fall away a little bit more, and Liam, you've alluded to it a few times that City look weaker this season. I think Liverpool are just going to pip them to second, and we'll just pip them to first. I don't think we're going to run away with it at all. I mean,
No, I don't think you'll run away with it. I agree with you. Scott, Chelsea, will they finish in the top half, do you think?
Yes, we will, I think.
such a blow to have to answer that question at the moment. I know it's the reality of where you are, but it's such a kick in the dick.
The thing is, it is and it's not, because it is because we used to being so much higher up and so much, we're used to having much nicer things than fucking 10th and 12th place. But the writing's been on the wall for this for a long time with Chelsea. It's been a house of cards. I've said this over and over. It's been a house of cards at that club for a long, long time. And it was going to happen eventually under Roman or somebody else, that we would go through this period where we pay for our lack of preparation for the future. And we're trying to play catch up with this now. So, yeah, I think we will. I think we've got enough quality. I think Pochettino's style is, again, I've said it a couple of times, we're going to be inconsistent. We're going to play really good football some weeks and then look terrible the following. We're trying to build a lot of chemistry. We're trying to gel a lot of people together. But I think we'll be good enough overall to... We've not even broke 20 points yet. Fucking hell. But, yeah, I think we'll be good enough to... I mean, having said that, if we beat United on Wednesday, we are sort of back in the European places. So I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. And I think as the season goes on, particularly if we do move a bit mad in January, like people are talking about, it could be an interesting end to the year.
Liam, do you want to... I'm just going to revisit our predictions for the top 4. So we're about just over a third of the way through the season. So I think everyone other than me had City finishing first. I don't know if everyone had Arsenal finishing second. But
Luke had Liverpool winning the league, didn't he?
No, he had United winning the league.
No, he never. Did he?
He must have done.
No, he didn't. He had Liverpool winning the league, United second, City third he had.
Is there anyone who surprised you? I think Villa have been the main. How consistent they've been, have been super consistent.
I think we expected
is there anyone who's surprised?
Yeah,
six sounds about right.
I think
thought Villa would be good, but not this good.
Yeah, Tottenham, me too.
I think Tottenham. I think they've had injuries now that have pushed them back a little bit, but they've responded well at City with a team. I think seeing some of their players step up in a way that didn't like. I feel like Kulusevski is a far better player than people give credit for. Maybe because he doesn't get the goals that he should get, but he's a fantastic footballer. It reminds me of when they had Moussa Dembele, the way he goes past people and it's doing it from out wide. I think he's a very good footballer. I think when they've got Maddison back as their main man, and they probably do need a striker to replace, well, not replace Kane, but someone who can play a forward where they can maybe play Son as a rotation.
It's clearly not working out with Richarlison. I know he's injured again, but
exactly. I think they'll probably be quite a good team. They are, I'd say, probably this. Positionally, they're not a million miles away from where you'd predict them, but I'd say the way in which they've taken to the new style is probably the surprise of the season.
Yeah, I think you were spot on with your predictions about Postecoglou and the style that he'd bring in, because I was unfamiliar with his game, and I respect it. I respect his game.
We cannot be getting into a Postecoglou praise session.
No, I don't
Surely not.
I don't like his job or his face or anything like that, but I can respect good football when I see it.
It's just the way we play, mate. It's just the way we play.
Oh, he can fuck off. No,
he's got a bit of a stick now, hasn't he?
He's an abysmal tactician. I will put it that way. He is absolutely, from what I've seen in games where they're behind the 8 ball, he has not got the foggiest clue what to do. They got 1 point in the last 4 games, and we're on about, Spurs have bounced back well, but they've not done any bouncing. There's no bounce here.
I think Liam was referring to performance versus City rather than the lack in results, but We can
Maybe.
focus on Tottenham the next time. The last team I want to round it up with, and I want to sort of take it back to England a little bit if I can, and that's Newcastle, who again have had a lot of injuries, but Anthony Gordon's really impressed me, Liam.
That was a really loose segue, but yeah.
Yep.
No, he's a brilliant player. He's someone, if you remember, I wanted in the England squad when he was at Everton.
Yeah.
He's so dynamic. It's very rare in a world where everything is so controlled now and possession is recycled and you're looking for these overloads that you have someone with pace who's not afraid to use it. So I think Gordon will excite most football fans because of that. And because now he's in a team that is doing very well, it really shows. Like, it does matter a lot which team you're playing as a player. I know that sounds simple, but people do forget that, I think. So now he's in a team that's dominating games and likes to play on the counter. He looks $1 million. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of his. Livramento as well. Someone who's really settling well. I don't think that's a massive surprise for anyone who knew his pedigree when he was at Chelsea, and then the move that, because he didn't want to sign a new contract, if I'm right, Scott, that he went to Southampton in the end, and then his first season at Southampton at 19, he was a revelation. Before that injury, he's now coming back, and this is all at a position, by the way. He's playing at left back. He's not a left back.
No, he's a right back.
Yeah, and he's essentially putting in performances away at PSG like he's been doing it for years. So I'd expect both of them to be in the England squad come the World Cup or Euros.
I wouldn't pull my face if either of them were in it. I sort of like the idea of Gordon going in that left wing position, and now just for a bit of unknown, especially in the international game, just for that added sort of spice to the England style and setup, and the way we play is very predictable. But if you chuck someone like him in, it can really mess stuff up.
It will be Rashford there though, won't it?
Probably.
It's embarrassing. That's why we're not going to win it.
Is there anything else that we have missed of recent topics that we need to cover?
No.
We haven't fixed much, but we've really... Well, let's wrap it up there. We're going to have a good think, and we've got a lot to talk about coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've also got Christmas. There'll be a special bonus Christmas Day episode going out, so please stay tuned for that. Yeah, there will. We're recording. We're recording on Christmas Day, Liam.
No, thank you.
Yeah, of course we are. Yeah, we're going to get presents and dressed up and everything. We're going to get dressed up for an audio podcast. No. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for spending it with us. If you could like and share and follow and subscribe and do all that good stuff for us, that would really do us a world of good. The numbers are slowly creeping up, so if you could keep that going for us, just share it with someone. We'd really appreciate it. Scott, where can people find us on Twitter/X?
Fixing Football.
You beautiful man. And Liam, if they want any links to anything else, if you could just think of one website that you might really like to go to, which one should they do?
FixingFootballPodcast.com.
See, it's that easy. Right, guys, I love you. Catch you later.
In a bit.
Bye.